Hey, what's up, Fear of the Walking Dead fans? This is the Campfire Crew, and we have 5 top moments from last night's episode. And we just want to start out by saying, guys, this is not The Walking Dead. It is Fear of the Walking Dead. It's a completely different show. Give this show a chance. It's starting out, I feel like, better than it even did season 1. We've got to get into these characters first. And so, I don't know, man. There were some moments from last night that we actually liked, and we're going to cover them. I'm Campfire Rich.
I'm Campfire Nate. And yeah, it's kind of hard when you go from such an emotional finale in The Walking Dead to this. You're just like, it's never going to compare. But this show's starting out, again, it's just, I enjoy a lot of it. I'm not entirely invested in these characters yet. I think probably it's the same thing with a lot of people, but I think it's going to slowly kind of grow on you. You're going to start kind of investing in them a little bit. So just, like he said, just kind of stick with it. I think we're going to like it a lot. But the one moment I think was one of the coolest moments, was the first one we're going to talk about, was the intro. I mean, it picked up literally right where it left behind, right where it ended. Literally a few hours later, it was dark. They're trying to get to the boat. You got Chris there, who's just moping with his mom, just sitting there, just can't function. Travis and Madison are trying to push him. Come on, let's go. And then when Nick came back to get him, and they're having to fight these, all these walkers are coming at him and stuff like that. I thought it was really cool. Them having to try to get on the boat. It kind of had that kind of tense feeling to it. But dude, when Nick took the motor for the boat, and just propelled that dude's face up, that was awesome. I don't know about anybody, but that was an awesome way to start the show for sure.
Yeah, no, it was good. I liked the opening scene. It was, like you said, it was suspenseful. You had the walkers. I don't know I'm not really sure what they're calling them yet. We're going to continue to call them walkers. And they were being attacked and almost getting bit, and it's basically just Travis and this girl right there just handling business while his son's just crying. So Nick, man, he gets in that boat and he's zooming through the water. We're going to talk about Nick probably throughout this whole season because it's my favorite and Nate's favorite. We love this kid. But they get on, they're on the boat, they get everything settled, they're on their way. And Slade, even, what's his name? He's not Slade. What's his name? The black guy.
Oh, of course you had to ask me right when I'm not thinking about it.
Anyway, you think about it and let me know because I'm close. But he's looking out and he was like, Abigail can stay on sea for quite some time.
It's Strand.
I don't know
texted me Slade last night, man, and messed me up. I was like, who the crap are you talking about?
I don't know, man.
I was like, Strand, man.
Strand. Okay, Strand. He's looking at, and, LA's getting bombed. He looks out there and he's just like, Abigail can stay on the sea for quite some time, and those people will covet it. Other people will covet it. We've got to stay away from the shore and all that. And he makes a really good point. Not long after that, you see a boat of people stranded. They're begging for help. Who knows how many people's on that little boat, 12 or something. There's several. And they're like, yo, you got to stop the boat. And he just, he cracked me up because he's sitting there and he says, yeah, that's funny. He has no intentions. And he even makes a comment. He was like, I've met my quota during the apocalypse, and that saved 7 people. So be thankful. And they keep on haggling him, and he's like, if I stop this boat, it's going to be to let people off, not take on more. And that seems really cutthroat, but we all know as fans how brutal other people can be. And you're on a boat. There's not much, space or anything like that. You take on a lot of people, it's going to get ugly really quick.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like they're already ahead of the curve. Okay, that's the way I look at it. Like, Strand is already in the survival of the fittest, protect what I own, that's it kind of mentality, which is almost what you have to be. We've seen that with The Walking Dead, that you have to get to that moment where you're not trying to help everybody. Nick's in that same moment. And it was funny, last year he had that great moment where he was like, everyone's catching up to me because I've been living this life because of all of his drug use and stuff. He's lived that, So him and Strand are probably the only two that are ahead of the curve. Everyone else is slowly catching up. And I think what was important about when that boat happened is you actually saw a moment where I think Travis kind of started feeling like, hey, listen, we don't need to stop. That was the exact opposite of how he was in the first season, dude. He was trying to help everybody.
Right.
So for him to finally be like, yeah, we don't need to do this. Like for him to actually have that thought in his head, I think that's a big deal because we're going to slowly start seeing these people realize, hey, listen, there's a moment when you can help people, and then there's a moment where you can't, and that was one of those moments you just can't help them.
Right.
And that's how I felt about that. But leading into the next moment, which I thought was funny because like Richie mentioned in the group last night was similar to what we were talking about in the comics right now, the Walking Dead comics, was that Madison's daughter was talking to someone on a radio. Okay. I personally don't see any possibly good thing that could come out of talking to someone on a radio when you don't know them. And then you're like, being all like, well, especially in this apocalyptic world where you're trying to protect what you have, it seems easy. People would be like, I don't have no one to talk to. Start talking, tell you where all your stuff is. And then people come and kill you and take your stuff.
Right.
So I can't, it was interesting. I think for her, this girl went from, the modern life of talking to her friends and texting and, Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And now she's broke down to all she's got left is a radio.
She's radioing now.
Yeah. So she's jumping on the next hot teen crave, which is getting on there with radio. So she's talking to this guy. Obviously there was moments where it kind of seemed like maybe this guy was in a similar situation. You kind of worried, maybe the whole moment was going to just be that he gets killed and she has to hear it or something like that. But the interesting thing is when she was like, we can't come, he was like, we need help. And she's like, we can't come. He's like, it's okay. We'll see you soon. When he said that, dude, I got chills. I was like, oh crap. I knew it. I knew it was a bad idea. I knew it right then.
Cause she had then told him where they were at. And you already knew it was going that way, man. And when she did that, she goes up, she's like, we got to help these people. Because before that, she's letting everybody know. And here comes Strand. He comes on down. He was like, what? You did what? You talking to somebody? He was like, let's go over the rules of this boat again. Rule number 1, this is my boat. Rule number 2, this is my boat. Man, I was cracking up. Like he's right. You have to start with him like, yo, you have to listen to me on this. We're not helping people. And, it gets him in a situation later on in the episode, possibly that she made a really big mistake. Moving on to favorite moment number 4, and Travis's kid, Chris, he got to go. He's Sam. He's Sam from The Walking Dead. He's worthless right now. Don't like him, didn't like him in episode season, the first series, whatever. I'm not liking him in this. Something's got to change because he was just mopey and crying. He punched his dad, and I'm like, yo, bro, you don't hit daddy. You don't ever hit your dad. His dad should have cocked him upside the head and said, wake up, son. We ain't playing around no more. Your mom's dead. We shot her in the head. She was bit. It's either wait, let her turn into a walker and then kill her, or just go ahead and put her out of her misery. So I don't know. He's jumping in the water and swimming and doing all this stuff. Nate, you had made the comment. We have a live chat that we go on Facebook in our group. And we have a lot of fun in there. And Nate gets on there and he's just like, this kid better grow up. Carl had to kill his own mama while she was pregnant, so. Yeah, no, this dude,
Chris is like, you get it, okay? In the first season, all this stuff, it took him a while to get with the program. And then his mom, it's like the kid can't get over that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like he saw everything go down. He saw what happened to his mom. I think in his mind, he understands that was the right call, but he's in that mopey teenage like mentality where it's like, I'm mad at my dad. And it was interesting. He had that moment where he was talking to Salazar and like he's trying to kind of reach out a little bit. But I really like that moment that Salazar had with Travis where he was basically like, I would trade, what you got to do versus what, he's like, basically I think
my failures for your mercy, I think was what
right.
he said.
He didn't even get the opportunity to see his wife. And in this situation, he was able to grant her mercy, which is what she wanted because she had seen it. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Her mom had seen it. So I don't know. Like, I think Chris needs to get with the program. I think it will, if he doesn't, it will get him killed. There's no way around it. I don't think they're going to kill Chris because I think it's too big and too important to Travis. But this kid needs to grow some Carl nuts. Plain and simple. That's how I put it. He needs to get some Carl balls and get with the program because the dude is really wimpy. But the final moment, talking into it, the whole ending I thought was really neat where, the smoke on the water. I mean, it was just, it looked kind of like when the smoke started coming, they're in the water. I'm like, dude, what's up with the smoke? But Nick, of course, head first jumps in to go after Chris because he thinks the kid's just killing himself. You don't know because this kid's all over the place.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, I'm just swimming, and Nick jumps in the water and it's just his moments where he's just swimming and he looks up and he sees something. He gets close to it. Man, it is a daggum walker in the water, man, a floating walker. Just sitting there, just in the water, dude. That was creepy. I was like, "Oh, dude, really like that's a little." I'm kind of scared now because I'm about to go to the beach here in a few weeks, and man, I'm gonna be in the water like getting nervous.
Forget sharks, man. Where are these zombies at?
Yeah, no kidding. But I mean,
floaters. That's what we're gonna call them. Floaters.
We can call them walkers and floaters. That's exactly right. That's the new thing. But it was interesting because he went in there. You saw this boat. He went under there. Again. This whole time thinking, man, Nick is just, he doesn't give a crap, dude. He is just, I would not do that. I wouldn't be going underneath there like, I hear a noise. Let's go find out what it is. Man, screw that crap. I'm out of here, But he goes underneath there. He's checking it out. Again, it's another walker. He's able to get a hold of those the yacht logs, which I think is going to be a pretty big deal. I think that's probably going to be interesting next week.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a moment when he was underneath that water when that one was kind of coming at him. She seemed like she was still... I mean, she had recently turned, so she wasn't completely there, but she kind of looked a little human. I think he kind of had a moment there where he saw it, and it kind of clicked that these people are so fresh. We're so used to these like gross, nasty things falling off zombies that when you still see the ones that are still like newly turned, it's still kind of like it's hard because you're like, man, these people still look like people. So. Nick gets back to the boat. They get out of there. They're worried because all of a sudden now there's a blip on the radar. I'm sure Strand's up there like, man, that stupid girl had to get on that radio.
Right.
I mean, you don't know if that's who it is. You don't know who it is, but you know that you see that boat that just got blown up, dude. I mean, shot to pieces.
Right.
So you're like, oh, crap, what's going on? And that's how it ends. And you know what? For a premiere, it got me excited. It got to see the boat. I thought the boat was awesome. In reality, I'd love to live on that boat. That boat is awesome.
Dude, the boat was sweet. I'm like, man, these guys looked up. They got such a fancy yacht to just kind of cruise around on. And
if there's somewhere I want to hang out in the apocalypse, it's on that yacht because that yacht looks awesome. But overall, I liked it. I was excited for it. I think people should get on board with this show.
Yeah, for sure. It was an intense moment, especially at the end because he says, yo, that boat's coming at us. We're doing 25 knots. And they're like, how fast can this boat do? And he was like, 20. That's pushing the engines. He don't want to do that. So it's like, whoa, somebody's coming. They're coming fast. You see the bullet holes everywhere. And you also get the sense that they're still not fully aware on the fact that you got to kill these walkers. You got to take their brain out. So these people who shot this boat up, they ultimately created all of these walkers by just killing them, but not making sure they were, shot up in the head, which makes it a more dangerous scenario when you have to swim around. So I don't know, man. The beginning opened up good. We had some funny moments throughout, and again, we're slowly starting to get hooked up to some of these characters. Salazar's like, he's all like, yo, I wanted to call him Slade again. Strand had his bags packed way before the bomb started coming, so he already was planning on leaving. He's suspicious, so we're starting to get that inner suspicion going on between some of the characters and everything, and ultimately it's going to pan out to be very interesting. I'm still waiting to see who steps up as like the solidified leader of the group. Because Rick almost fit that right off the bat. Like he was kind of like making plans. Yeah. It was really a quick transition for him. So interesting to see who takes that initial role out of this group. But until next time, guys, look, that's all we got. Comment in the section below. Let us know what your favorite moments were for this episode. If you like Fear the Walking Dead, you can join up our Facebook group where we live chat about it and, talk about a lot of other cool stuff. But guys, that's all we got for this episode. And until next time, we out.
See ya.